today was senior day, and back in that locker room, we weren't necessarily overly happy with getting a victory, a double-digit victory against a team that is going to finish as high as 4th or 5th or 6th in our league. And we weren't happy with the way that we executed. And that's not the coaches, that's all of us. We weren't happy with that win. And we talked about how that was a testament to our seniors and how far we've come as a program. Josie Ann, Stasia, Liv, and Belma have really raised the level of play at Duquesne and made us a lot better as a program, not necessarily individually, but as team members and team players. They may not score 20 a night. They may not, any of them, ever be an all-conference player, but they bring their lunch pail to work every single day. And I could not be happier with the 4 seniors that we have. With that being said, obviously today, Amelia Gronish did things that I expected her to do all year long. Early in November, she had an injury which hampered her, and then it became a game of numbers where we also have some other outstanding guards, so her minutes were a little bit limited. But this is what I expect out of Millie. She does shoot the 3 that well. Every time she shoots it, I think it's going in. And when it doesn't, I just tell her to keep on shooting it. That's about all I got.
I mean, first half, the post, the points in the paint were very noticeable in how few they are in comparison to others. Was that part of the game plan, or was that a credit to Rhode Island? And did you put more of an emphasis on that at halftime to try to get the post more involved?
There's 2 big things there. One, we started Stasia King because it's senior day, and Stasia is not an effective scorer necessarily in the post. Her thing is free throw line jumpers, short corner jumpers. She's not really a back to the basket kid, and Josie didn't get a lot of touches. We had a lot of open looks at the 3-point line. We wanted to get more post touches. I would credit Rhode Island on that. I think Rhode Island did a really, really nice job of being very aggressive in their zone. And anytime we did have a post entry, they were swarming us. And we really didn't have any kind of clean looks. When Millie Gronish started to hit those threes, we would go to her side and enter the ball into the post from there. And obviously they couldn't help off, and that gives Josie and Amadea, specifically those 2, more one-on-one coverage.
And then, you noticed that you said this with Dea, but when you noticed that big of a big bench advantage with 41-4 overall, is that just a testament to your team just coming in and making the most of their opportunities? Yeah,
that's the way our team is, and that's why this team is special. You have a situation where no one really cares about the accolades or who scores points. And tonight it was Millie Gronish. It was Amadea Samashi with a double-double, and I don't think Amadea even played a good game. I don't even know if it was an average game for Amadea. That's the expectations we have for her. But you look back at our last game, Devonair Workman, who's a kid that can score and rebound for us, is not scoring. So what does she do? She goes out and gets 9 assists. Last game and this game also, Liv Bresnahan. Last game, 14 rebounds, 7 rebounds this game. That's pretty darn good for your point guard. We are having kids fill whatever role is necessary to have success, and I couldn't ask for a better group of kids.
Earlier in the press conference, the player press conference, April and Millie were talking about not being able to play 40 minutes against this team the first time.
Yeah.
Is that something that you really feel was a point of emphasis when you had that lead not to squander like there was the last time?
There's sometimes you want to say something as a coach, but they know. They know. I mean, why reinforce negativity? That's not how we operate. We're a very positive group. And so, we just talked about what we needed to do to have success. Whether it is X's and O's or going to the glass harder, getting a post touch. The one time Dev caught it about 8 feet from the basket and made a terrible little dump pass to Josie when she should have shot it. So we just tried to correct those errors, and we didn't really bring that up, no.
How special is this team for you, considering the run that you guys are on right now?
We'll see on March 16th. We'll see before then. We have a chance to do some special things, but that will all depend on how we finish these last 2 regular season games and what we do in the conference tournament. But obviously, winning, I believe it's 8 in a row, and having 11 league wins, we've done some special things with a team that some people said we were rebuilding. Some people said we weren't as talented. We've been pretty good, and we're excited about it.
You kind of touched on it there, leading scorers from last season. For you as the coach, from your vantage point going into this season, did you have expected to be in this position that you guys are right now?
Yeah, I really did. I thought our schedule was very difficult early, and it was proven that it was. You know, the Princeton and Syracuse and Green Bay, I think they may have 8 losses combined amongst all 3, maybe 9 at the most. I said to people before this season began, this was the most talented team since I had been here at Duquesne. I don't know if that was necessarily the truth there, but I knew that our talent was more in cohesiveness and really caring about one another. And sometimes that's cliche, coaches say that, but that locker room is absolutely so tight that it makes us the most talented team that we've had here. We may not have the kids that we had with Orshi and Wumi and Reagan, who were 3 of our leading scorers, but we have other kids that are stepping up and filling those roles. I did expect us to be here. That's the standard at Duquesne, is 20 wins in postseason play. Now we just have to get over that hump and get to the NCAA tournament. And for us to do that, we have to continue to win games, obviously. How do you win those games? That tight locker room, being unselfish and giving of your teammates, and hopefully the shots go in for us, and we'll see what happens.
This is a pretty familiar spot for you guys, kind of being on the bubble there between the WNIT and the NCAA tournament. I guess what maybe makes this group a little bit different, what do you think gives you that feeling that they're special, that they can be the ones to maybe break through and get Duquesne into the NCAA tournament?
The key is we have to win our last 2 regular season games. I think we've clinched a bye. I don't know if we've clinched the 3rd seed or not, but we need to win these last 2. We cannot lose either one. And then we have to win at least 1 game in the conference tournament. At that point, we're 22-8, and then it really becomes a game of numbers and who else is winning and who is losing. West Virginia came away with a win at Iowa State. That helps us in some ways, and in some ways it puts West Virginia back on the bubble because I believe they're around 60 in the RPI. We're rooting for Ball State. We're rooting for Lehigh, 2 teams that are about 104 and 110 in the RPI. To hopefully they'll drop below the top one, to get to 99, so we can have more top 100 wins. We want Richmond to stay in that top 100, so we want them to win. So it really just becomes a game of numbers at that point. All we can worry about after 12:01 tonight is worrying about St. Joe's. And Craig, you may not be familiar, but we celebrate every victory.
I told him.
Okay. We celebrate everything till 12:01, or we drown our sorrows till 12:01. So.
Looking ahead, I know I'm not going to mention the opponent because I've been through that song and dance before, but I'm just going to go over the road record in general. Just how do you feel that you guys have adjusted over the season towards playing on the road, and what are you looking for in that sense for the game?
That's a great question, Zach. I think we've become much more familiar as a team what we need to do, not just on the floor, but in terms of doing our homework and our schoolwork, in terms of how we handle ourselves at meals and making sure that we don't overeat, but that we're eating correctly and things like that. It's a tight bunch that really enjoys one another. We won at UMass and our flight was canceled, and instead of a lot of disappointment and complaints, we got on the bus and drove down to Princeton, New Jersey, and had a good old time together, and then drove back the next day. These kids don't want this to end in any sort of way. So I think when they go on the road, they actually enjoy it quite a bit. It's a good group. It's a special group. Regardless of what happens the rest of the season, this has been a really good run with really good people. Really good people.
About 5 weeks ago, you guys were coming off of a 27-point loss to GW and were 11-8. Was there any kind of moment, any kind of thing that you can think back to that you think maybe kind of set things in motion, maybe jumpstart things a bit here?
I think the GW game was a game where we played poorly, and they came out and punched us first. They came out with a punch that just stunned us, and we didn't make shots. I believe we missed our first 10 shots, and effectively at that point the game was over. I don't think there was any more lesson there other than the fact that each game is a gift, and we've got to take. And we took that game serious. But every game is a gift, and we need to win every game. We didn't necessarily do anything special. We as coaches, we diagram things up. We have practice. We try to hold you accountable. After that, it's their team, and they're the ones that are responsible for our success. Our assistant coaches do such a great job. At the end of the day, though, it's the players that go on that floor who they should get all the attribute, all the success goes to them because they're the ones that are out there doing it, and we're just there to help guide them. The GW game was a game much like Green Bay early in the year. We just didn't have it that day. And 2 days ago, we had a horrible practice. We didn't have it that day. If we only have 3 or 4, 5 moments like that in the course of a season, we've done pretty well. And hopefully that's the last unfocused bad practice that we have, and we can make a nice run over the next month. But that's the best way I can answer your question.
Sure.
Tough one, Craig.
Well, we got the chance to talk to April Robinson a little bit earlier. With all she's been able to do this season, just how crucial has she been to this team's overall success?
I guess we've kind of nicknamed her the Catalyst because I've called her the Catalyst so much. She simply makes us go, and that's on the court and off the court. She has upped her verbiage. She's communicating a lot more in practice and out of practice with her teammates and being a true leader. Her work ethic is unparalleled. She works extremely hard, and we go as she goes. She's very difficult to guard because she sees the floor and is a very effective passer. She runs the team like a coach on the floor, and she just knocks down threes. With that being said, though, we have other people with skill sets that complement her. Amadeus Samashi, to me, is an all-conference player and has probably maybe the most improved player in the Atlantic 10. Dev Workman would start for pretty much every other team in the Atlantic 10, and she's coming off the bench for us and is our second leading scorer, and I think the second leading rebounder also. Belma and Liv and what they have given us, whether it's points or rebounds or being in the right place at the right time defensively, they've been just absolutely tremendous. So, it's April as our catalyst, but so many of our other kids have just fit into their roles. And that's probably the biggest thing about us. We have just fit our roles perfectly this year.
I've got to ask you one kind of final thing here too. I've seen it on the social media before, and I saw it on T-shirts today. Just kind of explain to me the whole heart over hype thing, how that kind of came into being.
Adidas sent us T-shirts that said "Heart over hype," and
like a little personal sort of thing.
It became personal. It was a situation where at the beginning of the year in August we had rubber bands, the bands that kids wear, and it said Duquesne Family, talking about being a family together. And then we just got these T-shirts from Adidas that said "Heart over hype," and it fit us. I know the official slogan of Duquesne Athletics is "Put 'em up, Dukes," but for us, it's been heart over hype. There's people that have doubted us. There's people that don't think we're as talented as what we are, and heart goes a long way, and those kids are proving that. Good question, though. You been looking at my Facebook page?
I'm seeing it on Twitter. The Duquesne women's basketball Twitter page, and I saw the T-shirt.
Well, that's good. It's working then.
And I'm not the brightest guy, but I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, that.
I wish I could claim it, but no.
Figuratively heart over hype, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so we're real happy with that. It's really what we are. It's really heart over hype. We were picked 7th. We're going to finish 3rd, hopefully, and we're going to go in that tournament. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that will want to play us because we're healthy also, and that's a good thing.